Howdy, hello, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this, I hope you're well. If you're new here, welcome, my name is Sophie, and if you are returning, holla as always. I'm about to hit 11 months post-surgery, which is absolutely insane. I don't understand where this year has gone. I am 92 pounds down, which is just unbelievable. Praying I hit that 100-pound mark prior to a year out, so I've got about a month and a bit to do that, so we'll see how that goes. Just a warning that today's video is going to be very open and honest. It may sound negative in parts. That is the last thing I intend this video to be. I just think it's time to discuss some of the things that make this journey just a teeny bit difficult. I know a lot of people watching this are considering the surgery, and I want you guys to know some of the stuff that I wasn't aware of prior to my surgery. Naturally, as always, the things I'm about to discuss relate to me and they're my journey, and I'm not saying it's the same for everybody, but I have asked my Instagram followers to help me out with this video. So I would say that this is what the majority of people who've had the gastric sleeve or any other gastric surgery will experience basically on the way. As always, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and with that being said, let's get on with the video. Okay, so I'm going to split this video into 3 parts. The third will be the longest. We'll start by talking about the struggles pre-op, the struggles during the op, and then the struggles post-op. So, to begin with, the reason why weight loss surgery is actually not that easy is because pre-op, so that's prior to your operation, 2 weeks prior, you need to do a liver reducing diet. Now, everybody's liver reducing diet is different. Some people's consist of the milk diet, some people's consist of a liquid diet, some people's consist of what I did, which is just an absolute clean, calorie controlled 600 calories a day diet. If you're resorting to surgery, it won't be the first diet that you've tried. So for you to put yourself under 2 weeks of an absolute strenuous hardcore diet, it is difficult. I did my liver reducing diet, lost a stone, which is 14 pounds. It's quite mentally draining and challenging to be able to do it so quickly when you know you've got a surgery coming up, but then when it comes to actual life, you're just not physically able to. Quite demeaning, I'm not gonna lie to you, but it helped me prepare for surgery and I am appreciative of that. Prior to surgery as well, I think like telling people is actually quite difficult. I was very fortunate. I've got my parents who I comment in every video had my absolute back, gave me the fullest of support. But in reality, I really didn't tell many other people. I told a few friends, but that was about it. It's difficult to open up to somebody and be like, I am obese and I struggle with my weight and I've decided to have surgery. You almost feel a bit weak. Like you almost feel like you've like really let yourself down and it's just something that can't be fixed. One of my closest friends said to me, Sophie, you know what, if you broke your leg and you went to the hospital because you needed to get it fixed, would you class yourself as weak? And I guess that's exactly what it is. It was an addiction, an obsession, something that was absolutely killing my health, and I just openly admitted that I needed help with it. Another thing, I'm sorry, it's expensive. Like if you don't go on the NHS, or if you're not from the UK, you're not fortunate enough to have the NHS. I know that I'm biased, but if you're not fortunate enough to have the NHS and you go private, it's so expensive. Like it ranges between £9,000 to £11,000. Who has that kind of money just to dash out on something if it's not important? We've spoken about the pre-op, so now let's speak about the actual operation itself. So let me just start by saying operations in general are not fun. There's a reason why people get bought presents when they're having an operation. There's a reason why people get bought cards that say good luck with the operation. It's scary, like things can go wrong in operations. You never know what's going to happen. I think the hardest part for me was I wasn't actually scared about the operation because I knew that I was going to somebody who was a professional, knew exactly what they were doing. I was with a company that specialised in it. I knew that I was going to the top guy in the country, and I wasn't scared for that reason. But I was scared about the like going under general anaesthetic. Like what happens if you don't wake up from that? I'm sorry to be so brutally honest, but it is scary. Like that is just the case. Like it's not a fun decision. And these people that say, oh, it's an easy decision. No, an easy decision is picking whether you want a bag of Quavers or whether you want a bag of Skips. An easy decision is deciding whether to paint with a red or yellow crayon. An easy decision is not saying, I'm gonna let this guy open up my stomach and take away 2/3 of it. Like, that is not an easy decision, I'm sorry. And it's actually quite annoying when people call it that. So then post-op, I would say, and I have said this multiple times, those 6 weeks post-op are the most difficult 6 weeks you will encounter. And I know that I probably sound really negative. I'm not. I'm really just trying to be honest with you. And I'm telling you, like, those 6 weeks are, for me, the hardest part. Once you have your operation, you have to do a diet which consists of 2 weeks of liquids. And when I say liquids, I don't mean like, I'm just going to use this hand sanitizer as an example. Can you see this? I don't mean like liquids as in like a full bottle of water. You drink about that much, maybe like every hour, every 2 hours, depending on how much you can fit in, and that is you for 2 weeks. You wake up one day and you're fine, and then the next day, that is your diet. Mentally, you have to tell yourself you don't want food. And I think for maybe like the first couple of weeks post-surgery, I remember like battling with myself, saying to my mum like, I just want some food, I just want some food. But in reality, that's because I'm a human being and I feel like I need food. But my body couldn't take that. Like, I now have a stomach which can only take about that much liquid. So no, that's not easy. And move on to, oh, hold on, no. Before I even do all that, there's then the pain, the trapped wind, where they've pumped air into your stomach to get in and do the operation. So you then basically have trapped wind for 2 weeks, and you want to get it out and you struggle to pass wind and you can't, and it's horrible. I remember crawling around my living room floor like trying to get this trapped wind out of me. It's not nice. Then after 2 weeks of liquids, you move on to 2 weeks of mush, which again is quite demeaning. You're given practically baby food for 2 weeks. You're there like trying to eat like your blended meat and carrots, and it's disgusting, let's not lie. Like, okay, some people like it, but I'd much rather have a pizza any day. But you just can't, like, you can't. And then 2 weeks after that, you slowly eventually move on to regular foods, but that is taking everything with a caution, because the minute you eat something and you overeat, you will be in so much pain. It's like giving a baby a full 3-course meal. You just wouldn't do it because that baby could not handle that food. You cannot handle that food. And I think something else that I wasn't told about, which I'm actually quite annoyed I wasn't told about it, you have to take blood thinners for 2 weeks post-surgery. You don't go to a doctor's or a hospital. You are given a box of injections and you lift up your top and you put them into your stomach for 2 weeks daily. So if you've not been told about that, make sure to ask about it. It's to avoid clotting, and I understand the importance of it, but to not be told about that and then to go home with a box of needles and a recyclable box that needs to be thrown away in a medical waste bin, and they say, oh, you're going to be doing this for 2 weeks and then you need to throw your needles away. Not the most fun thing to be told. I would inject myself daily, or some days my mum would do it for me, and it's 2 needles every day for 2 weeks. And I remember coming out with the worst bruises on my stomach, just because obviously your blood's so thin at that point, so any sort of like puncture to the stomach, you're going to be really bruised. And again, I'm not saying all this to scare you all, but it's the reality of it, and I wish somebody would have warned me about it. I mean, I definitely would have still gone through with the surgery, but it would have been nice to know. Okay, life post-surgery. And this is the reason why life post-surgery is not easy. So straight away after surgery, you're going to be there for 2 weeks doing your post-op diet, doing your 2 weeks of liquids, 2 weeks of mush, 2 weeks of solids. And at some point, you will think to yourself, bleep, what have I done? Have I done the right thing? Like, this is my life now, this is the rest of my life. Will I ever eat normally again? Will I ever be able to go out to a restaurant and eat with my friends again? Was this even worth it? What have I done to myself? You'll ask yourself all these questions and you will panic, and it's completely normal, because it's like getting a tattoo. You've done something to yourself that is permanent, and yeah, your stomach grows a tiny bit, and yeah, you're able to eat a lot more food eventually, but it's your life now. Like, your life is so different and it will never be the same again, and it's a commitment, and you need to question whether you're ready to take on that commitment. Okay, so the first thing, and I have already mentioned this on my channel, but the first thing you need to be aware of is that you might lose friends with this surgery, and I wouldn't even call them friends, to be honest. You might lose people that you thought were important in your life that really aren't, whether that's through jealousy, whether that's through their own spiteful behaviour of not being happy for you. I had one friend say that I'd changed and that I was now a different person. You ask any of my close friends and my family, I am literally the same person, just 10 times happier and 10 times more, I'm getting so emotional, 10 times happier and 10 times more confident than I was before. And it hurts me to think that like my own friends would be disappointed with me. But you know what, they clearly weren't friends to begin with, because this has been the best thing that I've ever done. And if you've got people in your life that are going to treat you like that post-surgery, just get rid. Whatever, it happens, it's life. And if I'm going to lose 6 stone of my own body, I may as well lose another 9 or 10 stone with them, because they're not even worth it. Okay, the mental effects. Firstly, you will have a whole new relationship with food. So for me, the thing that I struggle with is food is no longer my go-to. So I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling bored. Like, I can't just go and grab myself a McDonald's or go and grab a Subway or something like that, because it's just not life anymore. Like, you are physically unable to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that is the beauty of this surgery. but you need to find a new go-to, if that makes sense. Something else that makes you feel comfy and happy, and something that will support you when you're struggling, basically. Someone joked to me the other day and they were like, so, you no longer have a food addiction because you can't. What's your new addiction? And I laughed and I was like, I don't have one, but I think I do. I think it's shopping. I need to stop buying clothes, but that will never happen, so whatever. I'd rather be in pain with my bank account than in pain with my overeating any day. I think the next point to mention is like the irony that post-surgery, food and meals and dieting becomes more of your life than it ever was before. And it's ironic because you think of food now all the time and you never did previously. And I don't know, maybe it's because I am only 11 months post-surgery and it's still quite fresh, but I find myself thinking about food now more than I did when I could eat it. Like, it's absolutely mental, like it makes no sense. Yeah, and it's just the irony that like what used to be your biggest vice is still your biggest vice, but now in a different manner. I don't know about anybody else, but like I have become obsessed with food. Like, not food as in eating it, food as in knowing when to eat, knowing how much to eat, knowing what to eat, knowing what not to eat, knowing when to drink liquid, knowing that I can't drink liquid prior to a meal. I'm so thirsty right now, but I'm about to go downstairs for dinner, and I know that if I gulp loads of water now, I'm not going to be able to eat for at least like half an hour, 40 minutes, and that's just because of the effects of like, if you drink you can't eat and vice versa. I was out before with a friend and he offered me some of his drink, but we were going for food and I was thinking, if I have some of this drink, I'm not going to be able to eat my food, and I had to say no, purely because I was about to eat later on. Like, that's abnormal, like, let's not lie, it is abnormal, but you do have to think a lot about what you're eating and when you're eating it and how often you're eating as well. Another thing, so like, I know, for example, on a normal daily basis, I know that I need to eat maybe around 1,000 calories or 1,200 calories, and I know that those calories need to be made up of protein. So I know that I need to eat meats and cheeses and spinach and vegetables and things like that. But it's difficult, like it's not always possible to be so prepared that I have all those things with me all the time. Sometimes I might need to grab like a cheese string from the shop or a Baby Bell or something like that. If I don't eat enough protein, I might struggle with fatigue or tiredness, or to think that if I don't get enough iron in me, I'll probably have a B12 deficiency. And then I'm trying to drink 2 litres of water a day, but I can't drink too much because if I drink too much I then get full and then I can't eat the food, and then it's just a vicious circle really. And I'm not complaining, like, I make do, and we all make do, and we all make it work. But I'm constantly walking a tightrope, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm balanced in every aspect of my life, and on top of that, I'm trying to make sure that I'm eating the right things, and it is difficult, and you're constantly thinking about what you're eating. But I want to reassure you that there are tools to help you. The Instagram community, to begin with, is absolutely unbelievable. Whoever you have your surgery with is going to be able to help you. Go to your GP if you're struggling, read about it online, read books. There's always ways around it, for sure. Okay. I openly admit that I think I'm struggling with body dysmorphia, and please don't come at me if I'm getting this wrong. Please educate me. But the reason I think I'm struggling with body dysmorphia is because there are some days, I kid you not, and I'm going to try not to get emotional here, where I look in the mirror and I think that I look exactly the same as I did 10 months ago. And whether that's because I forget what I look like and I constantly need to look at pictures to remind myself, or whether that's just because I'm not happy with the way my body is now, or yet, I say, it's so difficult. The amount of people that I speak to on Instagram and they say like, oh yeah, I've lost 7 stone and I feel no different. I'm like, how? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You've literally lost a Rottweiler off your body and you don't feel any different. But then at the same time, I'm 6.5 stone down and I fully get it. I fully get it. And that is probably the hardest thing about life post-surgery. Half of it is up here. You've gone through this insane physical change, and you've gone through an operation where somebody has literally gone into your body, taken away 2/3 of your stomach, and now you're left to lose weight and build yourself up properly. And it's like, after all of that, if you do not tell yourself that you're doing well, and if you don't remind yourself how well you're doing with your weight loss, there's no point, because you'll just feel upset and you'll look in the mirror and you won't be happy with what you see. And it's happening less and less, I have to be honest with you. I want to lose, like, I don't know, maybe another 20 pounds, 30 pounds, and it's difficult to lose all that weight and not be happy with yourself. And it makes me question, like, will I ever be happy with myself? Like, who knows? And it's scary because I'm 25, so what? I've lived a quarter of my life not being happy with myself. Is anyone ever happy with themselves? Like, maybe I went through this huge physical transformation and now I'm realising that 80% of it is in your brain. Like, it is scary and it's difficult, but overall I'm thankful. Like, I constantly am reassured by people on YouTube, people on social media, myself, my friends, my family, pictures on Instagram. Everything around me reminds me how well I'm doing, and I think that's really important. I think as well something that's really difficult is like the lack of balance. Like, there are some days where I will drink a coffee, have maybe like a piece of fruit and be full till dinner, and that's that. And then there are some days where I can literally eat the entire world. I'll have a bit of chicken in the morning, and then I'll have a bit more chicken, and then I'll have some fruit, and then I'll have my lunch, which will be like a salad or something, and then I'll come home and I'll want something, so I'll have some Baby Bell, and then I'll have dinner, and you know what? As a whole, it's probably only like 800 to 1,000 calories. I don't know how I'm going to be feeling that day. Like, there are some days, like today for example, I've been to 2 restaurants. Went for brunch and I went for like 5 o'clock, and like I'm about to go downstairs and have dinner, and I know that it's pretty normal to have like 3 meals a day and whatever, but to me it's not anymore. There are some days when I can just eat loads, and there are other days where like a coffee fills me up for 12 hours and I'm like, how do I know when it's going to happen? Like, yeah, there's no balance to it. There's no diary, there's no book which tells you when you'll be hungry and when you won't. You just have to read your body and go with the flow. I think also something that needs to be highlighted is, for me, I have a genuine fear of gaining weight, because I've been there. Like, I've struggled with diets all my life. Since I was about 14, I've struggled with my weight, I've struggled with diets, I've struggled to lose weight, and then when I've lost a bit of weight, I've struggled to maintain it. And I think I have a genuine fear of ever gaining weight again. And last month, I actually, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I gained £1, and at first, I'm not so much terrified anymore, but at first I was a bit devastated, like, weight loss surgery, and I'm still gaining weight. But then I quickly snapped out of it and realised it's life, and that's what happens when you binge eat and things like that. Oh, that reminds me, another thing. You will, naturally, as somebody that was a food addict, you'll find foods that you can eat and that you can eat a lot of. If I really want to, I could eat 2 packets of crisps or 3 packets of crisps. I don't, because it will make me incredibly unwell and I'll probably dump. But as a whole, you can eat quite a lot of certain foods. You still have to control what you're eating, and you still have to like watch your food intake, because the sleeve is a tool. Any form of gastric surgery is a tool to help you. It's not going to cure all of your weight loss issues. It's still very much a mental battle, and you really have to work with the tool that you've been given in order to achieve optimum results. I have more weight that I want to lose. I want to be the best version of myself that I can, and there's a lot of pressure. And I made this video because I thought it was important that people knew that it's not a walk in the park. Weight loss surgery is not the answer to everything. You'll still have mental challenges. You might even face more mental challenges than you did previously. Or you might face completely different mental challenges, but they're still going to be prominent and they're still going to be there. It's life-changing, but it doesn't change your life. It's life-changing because there are aspects of your life that will dramatically improve, and you as a person will change for the best. But you're still you, you're still living your life. It's literally like you're running a race and you've gone from 4th to 1st place, and then, if anything, the battle to get from 4th to 1st wasn't actually that difficult. The maintenance of staying at 1st place and constantly staying atop of your diet game and your weight loss game and your health game, that is the battle. And I think I'll have this for the rest of my life. And don't get me wrong, I do think it will ease eventually. But for now, I have more weight that I want to lose. I want to be the best version of myself that I can. And there's a lot of pressure. And I made this video because I thought it was important that people knew that it's not a walk in the park. Weight loss surgery is not the answer to everything. You'll still have mental challenges. You might even face more mental challenges than you did previously. Or you might face completely different mental challenges, but they're still going to be prominent and they're still going to be there. You'll still have money issues if you had money issues before. You'll still have friendship issues if you had friendship issues before. I think I've said everything that needs to be said. If I have forgotten anything, feel free to comment it down below. I really hope you found this video enjoyable as well as honest and open, because that's all I ever try to do on my YouTube and on my Instagram as well, which you should definitely follow. I will put a little link up here, and you guys can check me out on there. I post pretty much every day, and it's just a way of following me on this journey. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching as always. As I said at the beginning, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I shall see you guys in my next video. Ciao! Missing someone.